Today, joining us on the show is Wanda Good. She is here to tell us her story about her vaccination path and how that's kind of gone on for her, about any hesitancy she may have had and how she overcame any fears, all that good stuff that we talked previously with Sharon Bryant from NIFKIS about, as well as our own Kiefer Collison about. So welcome, Wanda. If you could just introduce yourself and let us know where you come from, that'd be great.
Hi, Shar. I'm Wanda Good. My traditional name is Shguwe from the House of Guksen. I am Gitsan, and I'm born and raised in the community of Gitmiao. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And you have had both of your vaccines, am I correct?
Yes, I'm a Moderna woman.
Moderna all the way. Oh, I can say that I think my first one was Pfizer and my second one was Moderna. So I mixed it up a little, which they say is there's no problem with that.
Yeah, apparently people who have received the first AstraZeneca can choose either Pfizer or Moderna afterwards. So to follow up. So it's all good.
And were you ever hesitant to get the vaccine? I know on social media, there's a lot of differing opinions going on. But if you are looking at the science behind it, it's pretty solid. So did you ever have a moment where you were like, oh, I don't know yet?
To be honest with you, all of my life have never had a flu vaccine until the H1N1 scare. I think they called it the swine flu. And that was the first time that I'd ever had a flu vaccine, just because of the big push to have that done, and the news that this is new to the human species, and it could potentially be very serious if you get it. So I decided, okay, the H1N1 flu or the vaccine. So I chose to be vaccinated. So I have been, I wouldn't call it really hesitancy. I've taken lots of self-care throughout my life. Like I've never touched doorknobs. I've always washed my hands. I've been very aware of how you get transmittable viruses like the cold or the flu. So I've taken really good care that way. This time around, I knew that it was something that I just needed to do, because I have a responsibility to my family. I have a responsibility to my community. I have a responsibility to my elders to protect them. So that was my reason as well. I knew that vaccine would protect me from COVID. So I chose to do the vaccine.
And when did you get your first vaccine?
So we got our first vaccine in Gitmiao at the end of February. And we were in the middle of an outbreak. Our community had, I think very quickly after the new year, when people were coming in and visiting each other through the holidays, we had an outbreak, and suddenly we had 27 people that tested positive for COVID. So our community was fast-tracked to receive the Moderna vaccine. So that's what we did.
And did you have any side effects? I know that some people have had side effects, although they are quite mild in comparison to actually getting the virus.
For the first shot, I had very mild side effects. I had a little bit of shoulder pain that seemed to kind of drift a little bit back and forth. And then in my hips, I had the same thing. It just kind of, I could notice it, like a little bit of discomfort in my joints, but nothing major.
And When you finally got your second vaccine, what was the thing that you were looking forward to the most? Because it did kind of open up a lot of opportunities for us who got both vaccines.
Yeah, what I was looking forward to the most after receiving the second Moderna vaccine was to be able to travel, to be able to visit family members again, to be able to not have to wear a mask, or mostly to have to not have to fear, not have to be like really afraid that if I get too close to somebody, or if I put myself at risk, then I'm putting my mom at risk for it. So to take all of those precautionary measures, of course we did, but to ease those fears a little bit was the biggest thing for me.
And as far as telling others or encouraging others to get vaccinated, what would you say to them if they're currently sitting on the fence, just kind of not sure of the science, not sure of the side effects, not sure of the benefits?
So we, as First Nations, Indigenous people, we do naturally, because of the long history of illness and pandemics that we've experienced, we're naturally hesitant when it comes to something new, something that we're being told we potentially have to do. And so I understand the hesitancy around receiving a vaccine, but I can say by experience, I can only speak from my own experience, that when we in the tiny First Nation community that I live in, when we're in the middle of our outbreak, and there were almost 30 people that tested positive, the vaccine was introduced to our community, and it was literally overnight that the transmission stopped after the vaccine was brought to our community. And what I would say is, if you don't believe the science, then believe your own eyes, because that's what I thought too. Is it worked in our community. It has made a huge difference in our community, and it has definitely saved lives. Unfortunately, 2 of our community members were lost to COVID, and if we had brought in the vaccine earlier, we wouldn't have had those losses. And I would say, if you're hesitant, then and you're not wanting to because of fear, I would say fear COVID more, because we have experienced the losses, and I'd hate to see anyone else lost to this virus.
You could even reach out to people who may have had COVID before and then had the vaccines after, and get them to give you a comparison if you're still hesitant. My next question is more lofty, but I know for myself, somebody that's been doubly vaccinated, it kind of changed my life. So how has being fully vaccinated changed your life?
I'm not sure if it's really changed my life. It's brought back a sense of sort of normalcy to my life, the ability to be able to travel again. I drove down to Delta to visit my oldest daughter and her boys, and we're able to go out. Of course, we're not 100% ready to go maskless in public, where we know that not everyone is vaccinated yet. But the fear of even going out in public is no longer there. I mean, we're good to spend some normal family time once again. So that is just great. I mean, it's like the ray of sunshine is coming back. And we did, as communities here in the north, go through a very dark time where we lost many community members to COVID. The vaccine has brought a ray of sunshine back. Like we can sort of begin to see the light of day again. The light is coming back, so that's good news for us.
And is there anything else you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
I would say, just once again, that if you don't believe the science, then believe your own eyes. That here in this time, now that 75% of the population has been vaccinated, we're not experiencing the outbreaks in our senior homes. We're not experiencing the outbreaks in our communities, and we're not experiencing the outbreaks in our hospitals. That is enough proof that it's our responsibility to protect our community members, our siblings, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our children by getting vaccinated.
And setting that example for the children.
Yes. My grandson is 14 and he's received his first Pfizer vaccine, and he's so happy. Like he is so relieved that people his age are given that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty thankful for the scientists in this day and age, that's for sure. They've worked on this for a decade, and now they had the opportunity to prove that it worked, and it did, clearly. So thank you so much for being on the show, Wanda.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.